English as an additional language is the official label used by the DfE given to pupils whose home language differs from English. A child who has the ability to speak another language is given the label EAL before their first school day has even begun. Throughout our experiences in many primary schools in contrasting contexts, the schools have approached bilingualism with subtractive pedagogy. This is where the home language of the learner is not reinforced in the classroom. Children have little to no encouragement of working or learning in their mother tongue. At one school, there was a child named Hamza who was new to the country and was originally from Syria. He spoke very little English. The pupil joined the class and immediately the teacher made a decision of which group Hamza should work in. He was placed in the yellow group, which constantly had a teaching assistant working with them as the group were categorised as a low attaining group. As a result of the label Hamza was given, his abilities were assumed to be below the UK national average. The early separate underlying proficiency suggested that bilingualism was a hindrance to learners. The model maintained that the brain had a limited store for its linguistic capacity. As a result, a second language could be seen as taking up cognitive space which could have been dedicated to the more important first language. However, since then, bilingual experts such as Jim Cummins have discovered this is not the case. Cummins produced the common underlying proficiency, theorising that bilingualism does not impair cognitive development and that, in fact, having more than one language brings cognitive benefits and only provides the learner with a greater range of learning resources. In regards to Hamza's situation, assumptions were based on his linguistic ability. The work Hamza was given, particularly in maths, was not challenging enough for him and he was able to complete tasks quickly and correctly. This raises the assumption that linguistic ability and cognitive ability are being merged and confused with one another, despite being two completely separate qualities. So why is the label EAL used in the education system if research has shown that bilingualism does not affect a learner's cognitive capabilities? Studies show that teachers were afraid to have EAL children in their class as they would not feel confident in meeting their needs, especially when it comes to the end of Key Stage 2 tests. Through teaching practice, we too have witnessed that the label EAL and the categorisation of pupils in the classroom eases anxieties for teachers. The label provides teachers with a sense of pedagogical understanding of how to aid bilingual learners. However, this is a generalised pedagogy and does not take into consideration that all learners are different individuals. Imagine a bilingual child taking into consideration these questions. By changing even a single answer to this small sample of questions, the child being described is importantly different from one who would have been elicited a different answer. The schooling system fails to recognise learners as individuals in groups or bilingual learners together for having the capability to speak another language. Although as training teachers we cannot change the schooling system, we can adapt the approach to bilingualism in our future practice. We will recognise that linguistic ability and cognitive ability are two separate attributes and take on an additive approach to bilingualism. Focusing on a pupil's strengths allows the pupil time to settle into their new environment, encouraging them to use their home language in school and providing flexibility within grouping, which will have positive effect on learning and progression.
Created using Powtoon.